Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that your name is on every news outlet because a group of people came forward to accuse you of body shaming, racism, and sexual harassment. Well, we can all just imagine it, but this was Lizzo's reality some days ago. Being a celebrity has a lot of upsides, of course, but the downside is very nasty, and Lizzo is going through one of them now. People file lawsuits against celebrities all the time for one reason or another, and sometimes these people win the case and get awarded huge sums of money. Because of this, so many people come forward with lies so that they get that money. But the allegations brought against Lizzo are appalling, to say the least. These allegations go against everything that Lizzo is known to stand for, and her fans don't even know what to believe. Now everyone can't help but wonder if the allegations are a lie. Did Lizzo actually do those things she was accused of? And what exactly are the details of the lawsuit? Well, let's get into it to find some answers. Lizzo has issued a response to the sexual harassment and hostile work allegations leveled against her. These past few days have been gut-wrenchingly difficult and overwhelmingly disappointing. My work ethic, morals, and respectfulness have been questioned. My character has been criticized. 3 of Lizzo's former dancers sued the pop star and her production company Big Girl Big Touring Incorporated, and also her dance team captain Shirlene Quigley, and accused them of subjecting the dancers to a hostile work environment and sexual harassment, even claiming they were pushed to engage with nude performers. But as soon as the news broke out, her fans expressed disbelief that someone who built her brand around body positivity and kindness could do such terrible things behind closed doors. The things she's being accused of directly go against every single thing she presented to her fans, all the things she stood for, and all of the marginalized people she represented. The awful details about her abusive behavior towards her employees made many people wonder how she managed to get away with being problematic for so long. Lizzo rose to fame for being a talented singer, and as a plus-size celebrity, she's not afraid to be vocal about when she's bullied for her weight. She is unapologetically herself, and this has had a positive impact on women who feel represented by her through her music and appearance. But what nobody saw coming was for Lizzo to be exposed as a terrible person after 3 ex-dancers sued her. In the 44-page lawsuit, it claims that there were times when Lizzo herself discriminated against them for their weight. But that wasn't the only thing that made her a terrible boss, because one of her victims recalled the time when Lizzo made them practice for 10 hours straight, to the point that one of her dancers soiled her pants. After all, she feared losing her job by going to the bathroom. Was I under pressure to touch a nude performer? Yes. Was I brought into a private meeting where I was kind of interrogated about my personal matters and ended up having to share very personal things about myself regarding my weight? Yes. What I mean, the list goes on. Were we pressured to do an excruciatingly long rehearsal that turned into a re-audition for the job that we had already booked because apparently we were not doing good enough? Yes, that is true. But the worst accusation included in their testimony was the fact that Lizzo allegedly sexually abused her employees while they were on tour. One ex-dancer claimed that Lizzo forced and pressured her to touch and eat a banana off a private part of a nude performer. And when this ex-dancer didn't obey, Lizzo pressured her even more by chanting her name loudly. There were also accusations that Lizzo forced one of the dancers to touch the breast of one of the nude performers. The suit says, Lizzo then turned her attention to Miss Davis and began pressuring Miss Davis to touch the breast of one of the nude women. When Davis eventually agreed to touch the breast of the nude performer, the entire group burst into laughter, and that must have been pretty embarrassing. But that wasn't all, because Lizzo then went ahead to call the security staff to get on the stage and take off their clothes. Davis went further to add that there was an instance when Lizzo intended to assault her physically, and she doubled down her statements in the CNN interview. The fact that she actually balled up her fist like this to me. She started cracking her knuckles, and she was like, "You're so fucking lucky that basically I am not going to hit you." The dancers must have been pretty shocked at the little regard Lizzo showed for the bodily autonomy of her employees and those around her. Then, a week later, after a show in Paris, Lizzo invited her dancers so that they could learn one or two things from the performance. But Lizzo failed to mention to the singers that they were going to a nude cabaret bar. Although the dancers called the performance artful, they were still shocked that Lizzo hid the nature of the event from them, robbing them of the freedom of choice to participate or not. All of these statements were backed up by other people from the industry who came forward to share their experiences while working with the singer, making all the allegations about Lizzo being a terrible boss even more believable. In addition to the sexual harassment claim, there were also claims of racial and fatphobic comments that the touring company made. In one instance, the former dancers asked to be compensated for their downtime at a rate of 50% of their weekly pay. But according to the suit, an accountant allegedly responded to the request by offering 25% and scolding them for being unacceptable and disrespectful. Only the dance cast, composed of full-figured women of color, were ever spoken to in this manner. Other allegations were tied to religious harassment, and the suit alleges Lizzo dance captain Quigley spoke extensively about her religious views as a Christian, and how she looked down on others who did not share her beliefs and claims. It got to the extent that one dancer's virginity was always discussed without her consent, and the dancers were mandated to participate in mandatory prayer meetings regardless of their religious beliefs. Although Lizzo knew what was going on, she did little to remedy the problem. While discussing the plaintiff's chance of succeeding, Chicago-Kent employment law professor Nicole Porter told Vox that, "I think all of the causes of action have some merit and some chance of succeeding. In my opinion, the strongest cause of action is sexual harassment charges. I think it is likely that a reasonable person would think that behavior created a hostile work environment." In addition to the 3 dancers that came forward, an additional 3 dancers also came forward to accuse the singer of the same thing. If it was just 1 or 2 dancers, we could still dismiss it as a lie or just some attention seeking. But 6 people couldn't possibly be lying about the same thing. But we know how these cases go. Lizzo has come forward to deny any of the claims, and she did so via Instagram. These last few days have been gut-wrenchingly difficult and overwhelmingly disappointing. The singer said she does not typically address false allegations, but because of the gravity of the accusation, she just couldn't turn a deaf ear to it. In her own words, as she said, "These are as unbelievable as they sound and too outrageous not to be addressed." In her post, which was a bunch of text-only screenshots, Lizzo said the allegations were coming from former employees who have already publicly admitted that they were told their behavior on tour was inappropriate and unprofessional. Lizzo also said she's open with self-expression and her sexuality, and she added that there isn't anything she takes more seriously than the respect women deserve. "I know what it feels like to be body-shamed on a daily basis, and would absolutely never criticize or terminate an employee because of their weight. Anyone in her position would be hurt and might even fall into depression." But the 35-year-old pop star said she would not let the allegations overshadow the excellent work that she's done in the world. "I'm not here to be looked at as a victim, but I also know that I'm not the villain that people and the media have portrayed me to be these last few days." But after Lizzo's statement on Instagram, all 3 plaintiffs and their attorney, Ron Zambrano, appeared on CNN this morning. And Davis refuted Lizzo's claims that the allegations were sensationalized and said her statements were disheartening to read. "She was there, and to fix your hand to write on a piece of paper that you do not believe that you discredit everything we are saying is incredibly frustrating." Well, for now, the case hasn't officially started. The parties just filed a suit, so fans are still torn as to whose side they're on, because it seems pretty disheartening that Lizzo, who is seen as an icon, is being charged with such accusations. But on the other hand, the accusations could be false. I mean, we have heard situations where people come forward to say things about celebrities that turn out to be just a made-up story. I'm not discrediting this, it's just that Lizzo is a celebrity, and people would want to do anything to make money from her. But tell me, what are your thoughts? Please leave them in the comments below.